Today has the possibility to be a very, very fun and exciting day because if we go into here, the banners have literally just reset a whole, 40 minutes ago or something. And as you can see, we have Faruzan on the banner. And if you go to my Faruzan at the moment, she is C5 and C6 Faruzan is very, very good. And if you saw my video, it was probably almost over a year ago. I did build a DPS Faruzan and it was very, very fun and it worked surprisingly well. So we're back for another DPS Faruzan. This time, it is hopefully C6 DPS Faruzan, which not only is going to make her do more damage, it will also help with all of the other teams I am currently working on. That being my DPS Sayu team and the DPS Lan Yen team. So, without further ado, let's quickly grab a Faruzan. It will not be very difficult at all because we only have one pool at the moment, which isn't great. But that's all we're going to need is one singular pool. Boom, watch this. That's a 3-star. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Okay, well, I have one more pool. Ignore the fact that it definitely did not take 2 seconds. It took like 10-15 minutes to get like, 12 Primo Gems. But that's fine. This should be a 4-star. Are we going to see it? We do see a 4-star. Okay. Please be Faruzan. Yes. It is just that easy. But now we can go in here and finally get Faruzan to C6. That has been a long time coming, but it is done, which means DPS Faruzan is maxed out, or will be in like a second. She is going to be running Skyward Harp because that is the best DPS bow we have. Talents do need work. I need to farm a lot of Scaramouche's stuff. I will have a look at that in a second. I need to grab all of them, shouldn't be a problem. I need to go farm these guys, and I need to farm Scaramouche. And then we need to deal with artifacts. And for that, we are going to be just stealing Sayu's pieces and just trying to get the most crazy damaged build I can get with as much crit damage as humanly possible on the Viridescent Vena set. I could also potentially use, I think there is a Anemo damage specific set. Actually, that would be really good. I also do have more leveled up pieces, so I think for the time being, I am just going to run Viridescent. But I'll probably swap that maybe over to the other one, or at least test the other one out. And then I could run off-piece for something else, like this one. I don't need ER though. I want attack percent and double crit. This is the best attack double crit we've got. Hold up. Wait, there is an upgrade. I can swap the feather to Shenhe's feather, because that gives us 33% crit damage, which is quite nice. So, build 1900 attack. We have 60 to 207. That looks nice. I could use a little bit more crit damage, but 60 is sort of good enough, I guess. I could I really do anything? I could get this on more crit rate if I wanted, but I don't want to because 207 crit damage looks good and 60% crit rate's good enough, I guess. It definitely could be more crit rate, but it's good enough for the time being. So I need to go farm these guys and Scaramouche, and then we can get her talents up. Otherwise, everything else is good. I will need to look into teams a little bit. I think this will be a good team, but I will have a quick look at other options. And for Jean, I don't have the resources to get her level 90 yet. I mean, I do have like the materials, except for these, but I don't have level up books or Mora to do that. So she can just kind of stay where she is. Why are you using Farina's weapon? That's why, because I put Farina on your weapon. Yeah, she can just kind of stay where she is, but it's fine. She's just here for healing and apparently to hold a 2-piece Scroll of Hero of Cinder City and 2-piece Noblesse. That is a build right there. Let me swap that. And I'm going to say for you, 2-piece attack, I'm going to say, because we just want healing. So 2-piece, I guess, will be okay. There we go, 2-piece. If I put her back on Favonius, because that'll be the better bet. I also need to probably deal with your talent, but her burst is level 7, so it's fine. And 1900 attack. It'll be okay for now. I don't know if I'm going to use Jean. As I said, I do need to look into the teams a little bit more, but Jean is definitely an option. I think when I did try this out, I was using Farina Bennett and Sucrose, or actually no, I don't think we had Farina then, so someone else, Bennett and Sucrose. But I think Farina, Bennett, Jean will probably be the best bet. So I could also probably swap Bennett or Jean out for like Seat Lali to shield, but I think we have enough healing going on here, so this will do. I don't know, I'll do a bit of research. So I will grab all the stuff I need for Faruzan really quick. I will do some research on her builds, and we can get her hitting some very large damage. Okay, so I have done all of the farming I need to do. I have one of Scaramouche's dropped, so I'll probably have to craft some up if I can. I don't like that I only have 4 of these, but I will deal with that in a second. First things first, let's jump in here and let's see. I think I said I want to do normal attack, right? I think that's what I said. I should be able to level that up, not a problem. Yes, indeed. So let's go quickly do that. Jump over here, get the normal attack up to level 8. So that is, what, 8, 6, 8? That's, I guess that's okay. I would like to go further, but I don't really want to spend any of the Dream Solvents on this. I haven't actually been farming weekly bosses that much, so I should probably farm that a bit more. But I guess that'll do for now. It would be nice to get the skill up a little bit, but the main damage is coming from a normal attack and burst, so that is fine. Other than that, I have also done a bit of research into teams, and it looks like this is the best team that we can run for main DPS Faruzan. I will just make sure everyone is on a good build. Everyone is already mostly leveled up. Bennett, for some reason, is not built, so let me quickly fix that. There we go. Noblesse Obliged, sitting at 26,000 HP. It isn't incredible, but he's got a decent amount of ER and a bit of healing bonus, which is what we need, so we can make sure Farina gets her fanfare up. Jean will do that fine enough, but a bit of extra healing from Bennett will be good, especially considering Faruzan will lose HP kind of quickly. Otherwise, everything else with Bennett is fine. Farina, I'm just going to run her on a signature weapon. She will do a bunch of damage, but again, that's fine. So, let's go see how this team does. I'm going to do a quick run against Masanori. And then Spiral Abyss has reset, so I might go try that out. I don't really know what I use for a second team because I need Farina for this team and my other second team. Well, let's see how this goes. Jump over to Faruzan, we do that. And we do Burst. That did 114,000, I think? 30, Jesus, okay. Farina's little dudes were doing so much damage. Faruzan also did like 100 and something thousand of her burst. I think it was like 33,000 of the charge attack. Well, yeah, that's pretty good, actually. That's a really strong team. Like, that shreds through literally anything. So let's go see if it is strong enough to do Abyss relatively well. I think we're going to run Faruzan first half because she's a little bit better with the multi-target stuff. And then for the second team, I don't really know what I could do. But I could probably go Overload Raiden, like that might work. Well, I guess I'll see how that Raiden team goes, but the main focus is this first team. That did 50k unbuffed. Actually, that's literally the most damage we were doing last time we did this, with whatever constellation Faruzan we had last time. With all of the buffs up, we were hitting just shy of 50,000. And now, completely unbuffed, we're hitting 50,000. That's some pretty solid damage, I must say. I have actually noticed one small problem though, and that is HP kind of disappearing if I'm not using all of the bursts. I think the only way I could really fix that is if I ran a shielder on the team, and I could possibly do that. Like, I could swap Jean out for Lan Yen. That might work, or I could swap her out for Seat Lali even. But I think as long as I have all the heals up and we're actually, you know, healing, then it's not really a problem. If we don't have the heals up, then it does become a problem. We just don't have enough sustain on the team. We kind of die. But with the heal up, we are fine. So I think it will work. I might just need to be a little bit careful once we get to the more tanky bosses. Okay, well there is floor 10. That was pretty easy. Floor 11 also looks like it's going to be quite easy. I'm not really going to go too far into this. In fact, I might even only go to floor 11. Like, I might only just finish this, because I am a little bit pressed for time. So I may possibly... This team is actually really good for this because Faruzan keeps them all together. I may just run this floor 11 and then I will leave it there. I will probably try floor 12 at some point, as I always do. Every single time the Abyss does reset, I do try floor 12. And if it kind of goes relatively well, I'll record a video on it. I'm sort of just here to look at damage, so I'm just waiting to get not in this annoying part of the fight, and I can have a look at damage properly against multiple enemies. And so far, I can say that this team is definitely very, very fun and is doing quite a bit of damage. Plus, against multiple enemies, we just do that and they just don't even get remotely near us, which is nice for a charge attack based character, where when enemies are near us, we will just perish, and it is not good. This team, on the other hand, is not incredible. It definitely needs some work. Well, now that we're done with the monolith stuff, let's actually try out this damage properly. Never mind. Faruzan is a good pick here because swirling, but it is not going to be the best side to test damage out on because I can't use all the buffs properly. Slimes are annoying. I just want a slightly tanky enemy. So I will probably have to wait for the last chamber to get a good damage test. No way this entire side is just 32 different slimes. That's crazy. Okay, last part of floor 11. Do we see a decent kind of enemy? We see a lot of enemies. We see 60 enemies. Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, let's see what Faruzan does. So the burst does about 124,000 there. And the skill is doing, or the charge attack is doing 25,000. Skill, I didn't see that, but like 25,000 off the charge attack. And 120,000 off the burst. And this team's energy regen is actually really good. That skill does about 25,000 as well. 30,000 there from the charge attack, 35,000. This team is very fun and surprisingly quite good. And energy is never a problem. I don't know how, but this team is just infinite energy. We always have everyone's bursts up, which is very nice. For a team that is very heavily dependent on bursts, it is very nice that we can always get everyone's bursts up. Well, Faruzan actually is kind of a decent pick here because she can group them all up together and do damage to all of them in one spot. All of these enemies just getting grouped together and then absolutely dying because Faruzan is really, really strong. Goodness, this is fun. 60 enemies, though, is actually insane. It is no problem for us. It might be a problem because we only have like 40 seconds for the second half, but that's fine. It is definitely not fine because this team doesn't do damage, but oh well. Well, no 3 stars. That's fine though. Those 60 enemies are insane. Like there was no way I was 3-starring that. Especially when the Raiden team does no damage and these guys both have shields that are impossible to get through. Bro, we're not even going to get 2 stars on this because these enemies are horrible. We don't have any form of Hydro. We just can't get through their shields. This was more of just a test for Faruzan, not the Abyss in general. And I have learned that this team is definitely not good enough. It does sort of work, but not well enough to actually do enough damage. And it definitely does not work well enough to clear floor 12. So I'm going to need to rethink my options because DPS Faruzan is really good, especially against multiple enemies, but has a very, very big problem because it requires Farina, and Farina is needed on this team. I could probably swap someone out for Farina on this team or the DPS Faruzan team, but Farina is too good on both teams, so I will need to try to think of a good replacement or build up this Overload team a lot better. But only 1 star on floor 11, so I'm not even going to bother continuing that even remotely. Well, that could have gone a little bit better, more so in the Abyss side of things, but Faruzan herself, yeah, that can't really go much better. That was really, really good. I am very, very stoked with that. I can do a little bit more work getting these all up to level 9, and then maybe squeezing out a tiny bit more damage off the artifacts. But if anything, it will just be a little bit more crit rate. I don't really need a lot more crit damage. A little bit more crit rate might be nice if I can keep the same amount of crit damage. But overall, that is pretty good. There is a lot of damage happening there. 125,000 off of her burst. And then doing like 25-35k off the charge attack and 25-30k off the skill. Not bad at all. I will happily take that. That is a very, very fun team. And that now means that DPS Faruzan is practically done. I have been waiting probably over a year to do this because I just want C6. But she is C6 now. She does a lot of damage. I am happy because this was probably my favorite of the first silly builds I did where I built characters into DPSs that weren't supposed to be DPSs. I think Faruzan was the second following Chi-Chi. Faruzan was definitely my favorite. I actually did use DPS Faruzan for a couple months. Like as my main, I used DPS Faruzan. And I might go back to using DPS Faruzan as my main because this is very, very fun. But with that all being said, that is all I have time for today. So, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you liked this video, go check out the first time that we built DPS Faruzan on this account. And with that, I will see you all next time. Good. Bye.